Welcome back, everybody. So we're gonna be working back on the C10 today. Last video we did the 94 GMC, still running good. I think maybe the fuel pump might not be strong enough. It still has a little bit of hesitation to start, but it does start. Once it's running, fuel pressure builds up. It runs perfect start. You can turn the key, turns right on, and everything like that. Anyway, we're getting back to this one here. I don't know if y'all can see or not, but I did take the valance off the bottom that I built. It's in the back of the truck right now, but I want to kind of keep this thing going. I actually reorganized the shop, as y'all can see. Everything's up there. Most of the stuff that I don't use is going to be on top, and everything that's more accessible that I may need or use will be at the bottom. You can see everything's in the back of the truck here. Stuff that I need to move. These things here are going to be put up there on top of the shop. All this stuff here is just miscellaneous parts and things that I've ordered over the years that I'll be moving and stuff like that. But I'm gonna try to get this video out. I'm gonna just keep recording stuff, content as we go. We're gonna try to get as much of this work done on this truck as we can. 18-wheeler. Anyway, I know it's gonna kind of be like a boring segment, but I want to try to get this truck finished. We're gonna start working on the fenders. Trying to figure a way to kind of tuck this bumper, maybe eventually get the bed off. Like I said, look at the framing. We gotta do cap corners, which means I'm gonna take the seat out, take the gas tank out, all that stuff like that. But as you can see from what I did the other day, or yeah, actually yesterday, I had kind of made a template. I want to try to redesign this. I know this tripod thing's gonna get old quick, but as you can see, I kind of made this makeshift. It's not a cardboard. I just painted it so I can see what it's gonna look like. I kind of want to bend this out just a little bit, but I want to kind of keep the front end, but the back to curve out like that, because this fender actually stops. You know, I'm trying to figure out where it's at. The fender kind of stops here. I don't like that really. I want it to continue. That's why I kind of cut it in a curve here to kind of match this fender well. I want it to be lower. I'm probably gonna end up boxing this in kind of like a little triangle piece here to the edge of this fender, but I want it to look lower in the front, because if you look at the profile of the truck, the fender stops way up here where the bumper is, and then the rest of the truck is way down here. I want that line to kind of carry all the way along the wheel, even though this technically isn't as low as this over here. It's not as low. I gotta get some bolts. I'm probably gonna take all this apart. This is still lower. This is way down here. This here is, you know, it's pretty much there where the rest of the truck is, and mine's about here. But I don't want to bring this too far down to where it's gonna kind of look awkward, because you kind of can't follow this body line that far. You're gonna be curving in and then into the tire. So if you want to go to a bigger tire, you can't. So I mean, I can bring it down to here to match the rest of the truck, but the front of the fender stops here, way up here. So I mean, I'm adding probably what, 2.5 inches a drop just to the front to kind of help with the lowering of the truck. That's why. And I took the valance off too, because it was not overheating, but it was causing the truck to run hotter because the air wasn't flowing through. We're probably gonna end up building a shroud for this fan that's in here too, to kind of help pull air. But we're gonna try to take this apart. Hopefully I can get the razor back in there and cut this line to where I can kind of follow this line here. And we'll probably try to use our new metal brake. Never used one before. I used it on this to kind of flare this out. But as you can see, I kind of just carried it over to the back here. So that's basically what I'm gonna do, is make this piece and then make this piece. And instead of cutting this out here, we're gonna just grind this in. This inner fender stops there. So this is the actual fender right there. So we just kind of make this piece here to where it sits with the fender, and we'll grind all this down, prime it, and then put some paint behind here and kind of overlap the new metal, kind of strengthen this out so you can see in here all the rust falling out. It's only rusted at the bottom, so I'm not going to cut it this far up. So it's probably only going to be down to here where it's going to match. But I want this to be down here. It's where it kind of keeps mudding off from getting inside that fender, because that's what rotted that fender out. So I'm going to try to get this apart, and then we'll start working on it. All right, I got everything set up. I don't know if I can see that very well, but basically just took the cardboard. I did draw a little too far here. As you can see, that's why there's two lines. I want to kind of almost have a point there, and I made it a little longer. That way I can kind of tuck it behind the bumper to the rest of the fender. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this one out. Like I said, we're gonna play with it right now to kind of see how to kind of break that, because that fender curves under, and I can always square that fender off on the bottom. That's not a problem. So we're gonna go ahead and just cut this thing out and play around a little bit. Try to get y'all out the way a little bit so I'm not killing y'all with sparks and everything like that. Like I said, I gotta work tomorrow and Thursday, but I'm off the weekend, but they stated it's supposed to rain, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know why it took so long that time. Usually this little Walmart blade worked pretty good last time. Gave me a little trouble this time, but We'll go ahead and smooth this out real quick. And I know I'm eventually gonna buy me some small leather gloves. That way I don't gotta wear these big ass gloves anymore. All right, there we go. Got a little piece here. Let me see what it looks like when I get over here. So, I think we may try taking that bumper off real quick. That way we can kind of fit it up better. Cause I like the length on this. And then if we can get it on there, I can kind of like shape it to the front of the truck. Kind of like bend it around to the front of it while it's still on the truck. So let me get some wrenches and take that bumper off. All right, so we got the bumper off. FYI, if you got gloves in your shop, wear your gloves. I always end up cutting my damn hands. Anyway, I broke my swivel socket. Like I said, yeah, I bought them cheap, but guess what? It was like $4. I'm gonna spend another $4. Actually, all I need is a pin. So I can find me a nice, good pin, or if I find a pin that fell out of it somewhere under this truck, I'm gonna put the pin back in. I'll probably just tack weld it back in place, and it's gonna be fine. Anyway, I couldn't get these bolts out the top of the bumper because it's right up against this valance. I mean, yeah, the valance here on the grill. So I just took it off the main structure of the truck. So now we have all this room to work on. So now we can take our piece of metal that I put somewhere in this shop and kind of look at what we want to do now. I know y'all can see the curvature of that truck pretty good. Kind of set you up pretty good where y'all can see. That better? Cool. Anyway, metal, truck, together. All right. So I drew a line here. You see where this is all rusted out right here, mud and all. That's why I want to kind of build a square in the back because mud gets trapped in here. And I'm not really worried about the front. Like I said, see how it curves? When that bumper's here, you can't see it. So even if I put this here, see how much longer it is? The bumper's pretty much right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up going and bending this in a curve where it tucks behind the bumper, and it won't matter. I'll bend this in, bend that over, because when I go to weld it, it's gonna weld like this with the truck. It's gonna follow that line, that curvature of the truck, and then I'm gonna try to, I need to get my marker so I can see where I need to break this thing at. like I said, you can see where it ends right here. This is going to be a little bit lower. So actually it's almost the same. So I can actually come down to right there. So I need, we're doing this on the fly, people. Like I said, I want to customize this truck. I want it to be different than everybody else's. So if I put the line there, so there's the rust hole. So I come up. Now I want to mark a little higher because you don't want to weld too close to this, because if this is already starting to chip away, see? I'm just pulling with my finger, but it stops. It means that metal here is good. So if I mark it there, like I said, I'm just eyeballing it with, kind of like Puddin does, the eagle eye. Kind of just drawing my line across. That's where it should stay. That's what. So I'll cut that piece out to there, and then it's going to curve up here. So I don't want to do this or this. I want to take it like that. This is not the correct way to do it, by the way. I'm just doing it because it works for me. I like a challenge. Pretty much up to there. Actually, that's pretty straight. Not bad, huh? So it's gonna be up to here. This dips in, which I don't really matter. I'll probably fill this in with some weld from there to here and kind of make it to where it curves up and out. But I want it here. I want this to break right about there, right up in there. So I got the brake in the back of the truck, so I'm gonna try to get it set up over there to where it's gonna stay on the bed, or maybe put it. It won't fit on this table. I need to cut this table to where it fits. So I might do that real quick. Let me cut this table. Yeah, let's do that. That'd be awesome. Okay. So I already marked out the second piece using the first piece with the measurements with my brake on this one. So if this one works right, we already know we can transfer it to that one, and it should be the same as the other side. So this is my Hobo Freight cutter, and not cutter, bender. So what I did was I just notched out the table for it to fit in there. Got it screwed all the way forward. You put your metal in here, pretty much. We'll just line it up to where it's gonna bend, because it's gonna bend up. So I want to bend the smallest piece, not the biggest piece. So I want to put my line right there. I'm gonna put it right on the line. That way I know when I go to bend the other one, it's directly on the line. Take the other bar, you slip it on top, which I should be putting y'all in my trash can. Put y'all right here, so y'all can see. There we go. So we're gonna learn this together. I mean, I watched Puddin do this like 1,000 times, but he says he's not a metal man, but his stuff comes out really, really good. But he's had more experience. And I notch out the front so this C-clamp can fit on the table. So basically all I'm gonna do is just clamp it down right there. Pretty tight to where it holds this down, holds the metal. This metal isn't very thick, but I don't want to go too far with it. I just want to break it just a little bit, and it's sliding, which is awesome. That's what you always want to see. Let's go to it pops. Kind of slowly work it. I guess I can put some heat on the situation. Now this is made to actually be bolted to something where it doesn't move. It looks like it's still sliding. It ain't working very well. Those slide, they don't work worth a shit on. Like I said, we're gonna learn this together. Try to move it the other way. Eventually, it's going to be bolted down to something. I don't know what I'm going to bolt it down to yet. But as you can see, it did actually make the bend that I want. Just a little bit more. Just a tad more. So put it back underneath here. The bend starting. Get these lines lined up. It's probably gonna be more difficult since the metal's already bent. Like I said, I'm not a metal guy. I learned all this stuff on the fly. Maybe if I turn it around now, it actually bends, and it's already got a bend to it now. But it's bending like I want it. I want it to be kind of flat in the front and curved towards the back of the fender. Probably work better if I had a bunch of more clamps on it. I don't know if I have any more clamps. I know I got some more C clamps. I just had to cut another notch out to it. Both sides. Oh yeah. Let's see if I got some more clamps over here. So yeah, so what I'm gonna end up doing is notching the table again and kind of putting the C notch on this side where it holds on both sides. That way it's not kind of squirming. I can kind of see the effect that it's having on the metal, and that's what I want. I want it to be small and then kind of like come out to where it's protruding out. Because when it bent, it's gonna curve in. So the fender curves in like this towards the truck. So as it curves in towards the truck like that, I want this to stay flat. Actually, that's perfect because when it's like this, it's actually down to the truck. So maybe my mistake was good enough for this. As you can see, she's gonna curve in and that's gonna stay flat. That's actually perfect. So right there, the line's right there. So yeah, so now all I gotta do now is just bend this in where it comes towards the front. So when I weld it, it's gonna have this kick out. Kind of see what I'm going for. See this. That where the curve is. Oh yeah, perfect. You see the curve right there. Don't mind the duct tape, just kind of give y'all like a visual of what it's gonna look like. So this is gonna curve kind of into the truck, like so, like that. Now you can kind of see where I'm going with it. So it's down and flat. I like that. That looks really, really good. So that's what we're going for. Kind of make the front end look lower than what it actually is. And it's, like I said, it's still like an inch or two from the bottom of the truck, but it's better than it being the bottom of the truck being here, the bottom of the fender being there. See how much more we're adding on to it to give it kind of a lower stance. So I think that's gonna work out really, really, really good. All right, so I'm gonna go cut this up real quick and see if I can get a second one bit. So as y'all can see, I'm gonna take it off the stand for a second. I can show y'all. As you can see, I got it tacked. And yes, it's gonna be, when you look at the front, you're gonna see that little edge. Like I said, I'm gonna take this part here and literally just cut me out a square or triangle or whatever. I'm gonna make this flush, grind all this out, paint all this to about here over. So it's gonna come down to here to where it grabs this. So I'm gonna come down to right there, come out, come up to this, come up to where this actual new metal is. We're gonna make a whole new piece right there that covers that. On this front side, you're not gonna really see any of this because the bumper is gonna be covering it right there. But if I wanted to, I could take this and just make me a little triangle plate here. Because the back of the fender, it's solid there, but all this is rotted. So I'm gonna end up putting a plate there anyway. So if I wanted to, I can just bend me a piece to come around the front right there and either come straight down. I'll probably just come straight. I'll probably just come to square it off where it has more strength. If you like this, it ain't gonna have much strength. So I may just come out and then up straight to this. That way it just welds to that. But you can see that it follows the body line pretty well. I'm not really worried about the welding right now. Because like I said, everything I use, even like on the door over there, I'm gonna end up using like probably short strand fiberglass filler. So all this is smooth, but I did get that round edge like I wanted. Just kick down where it's flat with the rest of the truck. That came out perfect. Even if I wanted to, I could push it in, but I don't want to stress it out anymore because it actually follows the body line of the truck. And I'm gonna just hit it with some paint real quick. That way I can kind of imagine what it's gonna look like. When I go to re-weld it, finish the weld, I'm going to grind it all back down and I'm gonna put some primer on it and stuff like that. Just to kind of give you an idea of what it may look like. Like I said, I can just grind this stuff down to where I can re-weld it again. But as you can see, that looks a lot better. It's gonna have runs in it, but I'm not worried about that. But it come back to here, you can kind of see how it follows the body line of the truck, and it's a lot lower than it was before. Like I said, it was, the bottom of the truck was about right here, not much further than where I cut it at. So I added all this to here, and I think it looks really, really good like that. And that's what I try to express to y'all. Just do your own thing. Go get out of your comfort zone. I really wasn't comfortable doing this, to be honest with you. I thought I was gonna screw it up, but it came out good. I mean, mistakes with the whole bender and all that end up being the perfect bend. I already got the other sheet marked out, so when I go to cut it, it's gonna be perfect. I'm just gonna come back and finish tack welding all that stuff there to where it's all flush. I'm not gonna do that on camera because it takes too long, but doing stuff like that, and I'm gonna do it to the other side and kind of catch up with it. I'm not gonna do double the work because it's no fun y'all watching us do this thing twice. I may show y'all how I box it in, but I want to try to keep my videos down to like 30-40 minutes. I'm probably over 20 minutes now just doing this piece, but I'll continue doing what I'm doing on my day off. Hopefully it doesn't rain too bad, We'll come in here and kind of finish up the front end, maybe do the back end of the fenders all in the front, trying to knock the front part of it out, and then we'll start working on like the bed, cab corners and stuff like that whenever we have a dry day. But we'll get back on another day. So hopefully y'all keep liking the videos and tell your friends and all that stuff like that. Just like I said, it's a budget build, and like I said, I can't be more happy than that. I mean, it's rough right there around the welds. Yeah, it's going to grind it down. It doesn't look as bad from the front on the sides. It's actually pretty flush, but that's going to look a lot better than the factory fender. So we're going to continue to modify this thing and try certain things like that, but we'll see y'all another day. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to go back and work on this C10 again. I know y'all are so excited to do more metal work. I pushed it outside today. It's a little gloomy. That stupid weather's supposed to be coming in today. Anyway, we're gonna continue our work on these fenders on the bottom half. I'm gonna try to get the other one to match. Like I said, I'm not gonna record all this stuff to where it's just repeating content over and over and over again, which, as you can see, it does follow the curvature of the truck here on the front. So I'm gonna try to repeat this. I'm gonna end up closing this off. I'm gonna end up just all this is cut out right there. I may cut across here and it's built me a little piece that comes down to there. It's a little triangle. It doesn't need to really be rounded, because like I said, that's behind the bumper. You can't see it. The bumper has a lip that covers this. So we're gonna get the metal going, and hopefully we can get all this stuff knocked out. Man, that looks really, really good. I don't know if y'all can see it from where y'all at. Let me show y'all. Look at that. Now we'll come back here and grind this down and finish welding it all the way across, because I don't want any gaps or anything like that. But yeah, I need to go ahead on the other side and cut that side. That side's gonna have actually a longer piece because the rust is pretty bad on that side. Yeah, this is actually kind of my fault. Well, not really. This is old metal, but I'm probably going to cut all the way up to here, all the way almost underneath this. So I'm at to measure from the other side, which is gonna be pretty bad because it's not really on level concrete. But we'll get it as close as we can. You can't see both sides from the front anyway. With the bumpers gonna be there, you ain't gonna be able to see it. But we're gonna try to get it as close as we can and get all welded up and stuff like that. Maybe try to test fit the bumper back, kind of see how it's gonna look with the bumper on it. But I'm gonna try to get this done. I'm gonna try to get this uploaded so I can watch this tonight. But we're gonna continue. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna cut the edges, weld them in. But when it goes to like the duplicate side, I'm just gonna do them all and just to show y'all the finished product. So let's get started. All right, sorry I didn't film any of this stuff. There's a lot of traffic on the road right there. I guess AT&T, whatever, messing with the damn phone lines. But anyway, that being said, came down to the table over here and I made a template and cut out all the pieces that I need off this. I'm still using that same piece of metal. So what I did was I went ahead and actually figured out how to use that bender thing. Twist y'all the right way, that way y'all looking at me straight. Anyway, came out here and I got stuff everywhere. But it came out here and take this off. And I came and did the passenger side. Yeah, I got paint on there, but I'm gonna scrub all that off. But the passenger side, I got the bumpers just put up there, so it's not really bolted in, but that's where it sits. And as you see, this piece that I had in my hand, I used this here to kind of make out the shape. Now this one was made for the driver's side. This one obviously needed more because all this was rusted up to here. So I cut all the bad metal out here, but I'm just gonna end up slicing that out, all that off, and then just replace, probably boxing all this in underneath. But all this is, man, it's solid. I can move the whole truck with just that piece there. But welded this here. I had to add 4.5 inches to make it the same as the other side. And then I placed this piece here, welded it along the edge here, but you can still see like where like I said, I'm gonna come back here and finish all this here and Like I said, I'm gonna end up putting like fiberglass long-haired like filler to make it smooth. That way it's really, really strong. Kind of like how Pole Bar Garage does his stuff. And I mean, it's solid right here. And I did the same thing to the driver's side. Like I said, we're just gonna do small things at a time. Don't worry about this here. I'm gonna end up putting metal behind here and welded all this backside up. I ended up grinding too far and then putting a hole there, but I'm gonna end up grinding that down and then putting a piece of metal there. But as you see where the weld would be going here. When I finish welding all this up, you're not gonna see in this seam, but it's pretty flat all the way around. And it looks good with the bumper on it. All the way around. It follows that curvature all the way around, just like the other side. So like I said, we're gonna just do like small pieces here and there. Do the truck piece by piece, little by little. Like I said, I want to make this video short and entertaining. Try to be a little bit more entertaining for y'all. But as far as the truck for now, that's what we're gonna do for this video. Hopefully the next couple videos, whatever, we're gonna be getting the bed off so we can kind of fix the back, do the cab corners. We're just gonna open up some more metal that I'm gonna have, because I don't have to cut much more off of it, because it only needs, the cab corner comes all the way up to here, the piece. I mean, look how big that is. I'm not gonna need this whole piece. I'm basically just gonna need probably about there, here, and around. So all this here I can use for other pieces of the truck that I may need. Like the back of the fenders needs some work done here. Rust at the bottom. The most challenging part of this build is going to be probably this here, right there. So I have to cut this close to that seam. I may just cut it right up to the edge, and then here, and then put a small piece of metal there just to replace that. But both sides have that little rust spot right there at the bottom of the fender. What's bad is that's where our structure point is, so we're gonna have to bend it. There's a bolt right behind here, right there. I don't know if I can see it back there. So I'm gonna end up having to cut. I mean, this is still solid here. Got a little bit of bubble rust there, but it's just a surface. So it may just be cut here to here, and then I'm gonna end up making a piece that bolts back to that bottom fender. And then we'll do the same with the other cab corner here. We're gonna save some metal and then put it somewhere else, because I know the back of the bed right there may need some work done. But that cab corner has a nice rounded edge, so I may better just weld that rounded edge to there. And then we'll try to like work on the tailgate and stuff like that. And then hopefully, oh yeah, we gotta work, I forgot about it, we gotta work on that drip pan too. So, not drip pan, the little drip rail. So we'll end up welding that up, getting those little things repaired. We may cover them, or we may grind them down to see how bad the rust is, and maybe we can spot weld in between some spots where it needs to be done at. And then we'll be probably going on to paint. Well, no, I take that back. We're not doing paint yet, because we have to do floors. Yay. Take the seat out, take gas tank out, and redo the floors. So once all the metal work's done, then we can get down to what we want to see, what color this thing's gonna be. Like I said, I'm still open to suggestions on what color we should paint this thing. Everybody likes that blue. I really want it to look nice. The patina thing's kind of cool, but like I said, I have another patina car over there, so I would really like to have this one look really, really good and paint it nice, make everything straight, do the body work to it. The tailgate, like I said, I'm not really worried about, because it's the original tailgate. I'm going to try to knock some of the dents and stuff out of it. We can't get most of the dents out. We'll try to flatten out as much as we can, and then we're going to paint everything. I want to take the trim off. I'm not sure if I want to leave the trim on or leave the trim off and just spot weld the holes to make it smooth, and then we can put like a pinstripe to divide. If we're going to do like a two-tone, we can just put a pinstripe, take all the trim off, and just put a pinstripe to where the truck's smooth all the way around. That might be pretty cool. And then we'll do some custom fabrication for the tail lights, and we'll see what we do about that grill. Probably just buy a new one, bite the bullet and spend the money on a new grill. But other than that, probably gonna be it for this episode. But like I said, I appreciate everybody, the new subscribers. I see we got up to 55. Awesome. Continue to comment on them. I will comment back on anything y'all comment on. And please like, subscribe, man. That's all I gotta say. Until next time, we'll see y'all later.